What up, though? Let's take a look inside the state licensed commercial facility. Man, we're going to track the lifestyle and the phenotypic expressions of autoflower specimens for the purpose of research and professional documentation. Come on in. Welcome, and of course, welcome back. You're now tuned into Facility Files with your host, JP. In this video, we're going to showcase exactly how these autoflowers outgrow the photo periods in this facility. You see, most growers think you need months of veg time to get massive plants, but we're seeing these autos hit a larger size in half the time. Oh, my bad. I mean, we're currently observing superior biomass velocity. We are achieving accelerated morphological maturity, allowing the auto to surpass the volumetric footprint of a photo period while staying on a compressed timeline. All right, check it out. First things first, in this facility, we have to keep everything absolutely clean. That way, you mitigate pathogens. Now, it's a challenge staying this clean without using detergents and harsh chemicals. So, using natural enzymes that you can use as a soap helps break down a lot of the salt buildup from the nutrients, and it's also very safe for the angiosperms. When it's time to disinfect, we use water and bleach, about a capful to a gallon. And staying clean doesn't just mean mopping the floor. It also means keeping the air as clean as possible too. It could be as simple as adding a stocking cap or pantyhose to fit right over an air intake. It's very cheap and effective. Wait, my bad. What we're actually doing here is installing a secondary pre-filtration membrane. By utilizing a fine mesh synthetic barrier, we can successfully trap particulate matter and airborne debris. In all the years we've been running this facility, we haven't had a single pest problem. Now, we stay ready though. We keep test strips for anything that flies or crawls, and if it gets in, it's done. Another big thing is where we contract our supplies. We never shop at places that store their soil or gear outdoors. We only get our inventory from climate controlled buildings to make sure we're not bringing in someone else's problems. To get these autoflower specimens to thrive, we keep the environment locked in. In the vegetative area, we run the lights 24 hours a day, no sleep. Temperatures are at or around 80 degrees Fahrenheit, and relative humidity we keep between 55 and 60%. What's most important is that we also have a massive air exchange system. We're constantly pulling in fresh air and moving out the old air in a cyclonic spinning motion. From the floor to the ceiling, it keeps the air from sitting still, and it also promotes air pruning. Let's talk germination. This germination method is to ensure we never waste a single seed. By using water and about 20% being hydrogen peroxide, we are giving our specimens a pre-start. The peroxide has multiple purposes during this stage. First, it disinfects and keeps everything clean. And peroxide is basically liquid oxygen. Those high oxygen levels help trigger the seed to crack open and germinate. This works extremely well for very old seeds. Be aware there is a lot of patience involved with daily water changes and germination temperatures around 70 degrees Fahrenheit. But on average, seeds crack open between 8 and 24 hours. In this facility, we use cocoa perlite 70-30 mix with fabric pots. But before we get into too much detail, hit that subscribe button. That way you'll have front row seats and exclusive access to our facility files. Check it out. Using oxygen during germination isn't the only time it matters. We make sure the water we use has high levels of oxygen at every single stage. High oxygen levels in the root zone is the secret to getting massive plants. But before we talk air pruning, let's talk nutrients. Here we keep things very simple. A base feed for all stages of growth. If you take a look outside, the earth provides a consistent base, so we do the same. Well, in other words, we implement a static nutritional profile designed to stimulate ancestral petogenesis. Rather than utilizing phase-specific salt ratios, we provide a bioavailable nutrient reservoir that remains consistent throughout the life cycle. This constant state of fertility model allows the specimen to engage in autonomous nutrient uptake, pulling specific elements based on its current phenological requirement, without the stress of sudden chemical fluctuations. Here at the facility, we top the autoflowers that are scheduled for pollination. Topping is only performed when the plant exhibits vigorous growth. The only way autoflowers should be topped is by rolling out that very last node. Topping autoflowers by using scissors or any other method is a very high risk for a premature flowering cycle. Once the autoflower starts showing its sex, that's a signal that the flowering stage has begun. At this point, the angiosperm isn't that sensitive auto anymore. It's established, and it's now safe and okay to stress it out the same way you would do any photo period. We treat them with the same high intensity training because they've moved past that early delicate phase and are now ready to be handled with aggression. As you can see, we simply pull the limbs down and attach them to the fabric pot using very thin bonsai wire. Now the angiosperm is much wider, and during stretch, you will see massive biomass accumulation. So we get these impressive results by air pruning. By using fabric pots and 70-30 cocoa perlite, we keep the oxygen levels high in the root zone. Combined with the massive airflow moving across the bottom of the environment as explained earlier, the root tip will encounter that dry air and naturally dehydrate, which stops growing. And that in turn signals the plant to make thousands of new feeder roots from the center instead of one long taproot spinning in circles. That's why microbes and oxygen levels are very important while air pruning. In this reproductive flower cycle, angiosperms in full maturity can withstand very high levels of ppm, parts per million. In other words, we can feed a lot. We try not to exceed 1300 ppm, and we do not change the base feed. We simply add more phosphorus and more potassium to increase those ppm levels to get the desired result. Now we move into post-production, and the specimens are handled two different ways. For breeding angiosperms, the specimens are completely dried and sifted. All other specimens are immediately preserved and sent to neighboring facilities for testing. Now, I know a lot of you watching want us to just manually test the specimens, but we can't do that. Due to strict institutional compliance, personnel are prohibited from engaging in direct preliminary administration of the specimens. But if you join the Source Club, you might find what you're looking for. A family of like-minded individuals with the motivation to succeed. Google Zotto flower genetics for more information on our facility.